So I was really excited to see Creed 2, but going in, I knew that Ryan Coogler wasn't directing it, and so I wasn't expecting these gigantic, bombastic, long take sequences or just these epic moments. I was more interested to see how they developed the characters, how they developed the relationships that were formed in the first film. And although on a technical level this film is amazing, the film features amazing cinematography, great editing, and some of the best music all year. I think Ludwig Göransson probably deserves a nomination for either Black Panther or this. The training montages were pretty incredible and they sent chills down my spine. And in fact, all the moments, the big epic moments, really worked so well for me. And I think Stephen Caple Jr. did an amazing job directing both the smaller, more intimate conversations and the big fight scene. Although I would say that I do prefer Ryan Coogler's more sort of long take, sort of cinematic style. All of the technical stuff is good, but I don't want to talk too much about that because we all know it's going to be great. I rewatched the first Creed a couple days ago, and I realized that as good as Michael B. Jordan was, as good as Sylvester Stallone was, for me, and I think for many people, the biggest star of that film was Ryan Coogler. And what he did with that film obviously kind of gave him the Black Panther job and has now made him a household name. But what Stephen Caple Jr. has done with this film, I think he's taken a step back and he's really let the actors shine. And what I mean by that is that this film feels weirdly super character focused, almost more than the original Creed. There are so many moments in this film that don't necessarily contribute to the story as a whole, but are just these moments that let you see these characters as people, let you see them deal with their everyday lives. And I can see a lot of people not completely agreeing with this and saying that it's boring or it doesn't really work for the plot. But for me, it really worked because it's this beautiful deconstruction of these characters, showing them in their most vulnerable moments. And I think that's a word that I'm going to keep using in this film, is vulnerability, emotional vulnerability. And from a narrative point of view, the thing that I think they did the best by far was give every single character in the film something important, something relevant, something to do in their own personal character moments, while still maintaining the central relationship between Adonis and Rocky. It was actually quite incredible to see how every single character from the first film and the characters who were introduced in this one got their small little moment to shine. Whether it's the amazing conversation scenes between Adonis and his mum, or his relationship with Bianca, who also gets her own fleshing out. I thought Tessa Thompson was magnetic and she did such an amazing job with that. And of course, the big moment, you see it in the trailers, but when they have a kid, that was heartbreaking. That was really heartbreaking. I'm sure there are still people who haven't seen the film, so I won't spoil it. The direction that they take the parenting aspect of the film was beautiful, and it was brutal, and it was heartbreaking, and I was so emotionally touched by that. It just worked so well, and again, because we get to see these characters as people, it feels so much more genuine and so much more satisfying when they do have these big, epic moments. I also absolutely love the direction that they took the character of Adonis Creed in, because here he starts off at the top of the world. He has everything. And he's going up against someone who has nothing to lose, Victor Drago and Ivan Drago. And I found that to be such a great dynamic. And his relationship with Rocky is shown so beautifully. And Michael B. Jordan, Sylvester Stallone is great. I don't know if he's as good as he was in the first Creed, but this is probably my favorite all-time Michael B. Jordan performance. He's given a lot of great performances, you know, great in Creed, great in Black Panther, great in Chronicle, you know, he's great in all films. This is probably the most vulnerable I've ever seen him. It's the most human I've ever seen him. He gets so much to do, and the emotional range is insane. And so this is probably my favourite Michael B. Jordan performance. You should go into this film just to see him alone, because he is amazing. And the commitment that he has for the physical aspect as well is just amazing. And obviously coming from the first film, I felt really connected and invested in these two characters. And so I was really interested in how they would do the whole Ivan Drago and Victor Drago thing, how they would make us care about them. And they do. There are these tiny scenes, and I think this is one of Stephen Caple Jr.'s biggest strengths, is that every single shot in a scene counts for him. He uses everything to tell the story. And I think that when you see the film for yourself, you'll know exactly what I mean. There are certain scenes where a character just looks at another character and they cut to a shot of someone else, and the relationship between two shots shows you perfectly what is going on inside this person's head, or vice versa. It's absolutely beautiful. And I think because the Drago family, they didn't have the most amount of dialogue. It was definitely more just visual storytelling, which I loved. And Caple Jr., along with these amazing actors, especially Dolph Lundgren, they were able to show so much just through the looks on someone's face. and that was so beautiful for me. The film, of course, does have one or two issues. I think it's a bit too long. I think there are moments that do drag in between the fight scenes, but overall, I think this is a really, really solid film. I'd probably give it a B plus or an A minus. I would definitely recommend you watch this. If you're a fan of the first film, I think you'll really, really enjoy Creed 2. Thank you very, very much for watching my quick review, guys. Thank you.